Hi and welcome to Immerse. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use Immerse with this prototype. Okay, let's jump right in. At the top left corner what you'll see is the standard menu button, and right now we're in the tab of the library. If we hit the menu button, what you'll see here are several options. Home, which is kind of like a dashboard. Library, which is where we just were, and we'll get to that. Tags, notes, and cross-references, all of which we'll get to. Let's start back with the library. So Immerse fundamentally is an e-reader and a research tool. It comes with the sacred texts of the various traditions and religions. They're categorized in alphabetical order. I'll click here first on Bahá'í, and when you click over here, it reveals underneath all the authors that are within that category. Once you're here, you can enter into the authors, and it will show you all the books that are within that category as well. Anywhere throughout these steps, you're able to select any of these checkboxes over here, and once you do that, you're enabling the search engine to search only within that category. So let's say I select this book, and I select another book, for example. It would only, whatever I search for here, would only search within those categories, or those books, or those authors. So let's try this search. We enter here, we type in, let's say, sovereignty, for example, and hit return. And now we see the results of search for sovereignty from 3 different selections. We've selected to search within the book Epistle to the Son of the Wolf, within the book Paris Talks, and the Bible. So among those 3 books we've chosen to search within, sovereignty appears a total of 4 times. Twice here, once here, and once here. If we tap into this, it'll drop down to see what the results are. And now we can see where that word appears within a truncated section of the text. If we tap a text, it'll take us directly to where that text is, and it appears in the actual book itself. So let's go back to the library. So instead of searching, this time let's go into it to read. So let's go here, and we're taken to the reader view. The standard view will be a full screen viewing of the actual text. If you tap the screen once, it'll provide further tools. What you'll see here is the title of the book. If you type the search icon, you'll be able to search within this book itself. Let's close that for now. On the far right corner, you'll have bookmarks that you've created. Here we're viewing paragraph 2, and so we're able to add a bookmark to paragraph 2 or view the bookmarks that we have created within this book. So we can go to view, and we'll see in paragraph 2, 11, 23, and 71, we've created bookmarks. We can edit them as well to delete the bookmarks. So let's go back. The next option here is view settings. Here for now all we have is the font size variability. So we can slide this along and increase the font size or decrease the font size. Let's go back. This last button over here is the table of contents. We tap that and we get to the table of contents within each book. So these will be the headings and subheadings within that book. And of course we can tap it to jump into it. Let's go back to the reader view. On the right side you'll see numbers, which will indicate the paragraph number that you're reading. On the bottom you'll see the progress bar of how far into the book you're reading. So on the left hand side what you'll see are 3 indicators of tags, notes, and cross-references. Tags, notes, and cross-references, or XREFs as we've called them. Tags essentially is like a hashtag. You're selecting a certain text and you're associating it to a certain tag or key phrase. Let's say I select a certain text and it's on the topic of love. So I can select it, then associate it to a tag it as love. Another way of looking at tags is the title for compilations that you're creating. So in this case, we've created 3 tags somewhere within this section of text. If we tap it, we'll see the 3 tags that are associated with this exact selection of text. 3 separate categories or tags were associated to this text selection: sovereignty, God's transcendence, and greater covenant. If we tap on more, what we'll see are more options. So here we're able to add a new tag to this same text selection. We're able to edit if you click on edit, we're able to edit the existing tags we have tags we currently have. We can delete them, we can rearrange them, and as you'll see, some of the tags are sub-tags or subcategories within another tag. So covenants here is the main tag. Greater covenant and lesser covenant are 2 sub-tags under this tag. We tap here to be able to edit the name, and if we're done with it, we can press apply. Let's close this for now. And let's select a new quote to tag. If we do select one, copy, of course, copies the text, and once you paste the text outside this app, it'll automatically also paste the source and reference of this quote underneath that text. If you click share, what you're given are the standard share options. Send it as a text message, email, Twitter, etc. And again, the reference and the source of the quote will also be included underneath the quote. One thing that you'll notice is when you do a text selection of a single word, the options are different. The one option that's different is this one, define. Instead of share, this switches over to define. Whenever you have a text selection that's more than one word, you have the option share. And the reason for that is there is never a situation where you would want to share a single word, whereas you would want the option to be able to define that word. And in the case of a multiple word selection, you aren't able to define multiple words at the same time. But you do, however, want the option to be able to share them. So once again, you see we have the option copy, share, tag, note, cross-reference. And for a single word selection, we have copy, define, tag, note, and cross-reference. Tag here is going to be adding a new tag. So let's tag this quote. Do I want to associate it to an existing tag that I have created earlier, or do I want to create a new one? Let's add a new one. So this is going to be a new tag. I'll call it sovereignty, for example. And I can type that in, then add. And let's close it. Before we move on to notes and cross-references, let's take a look at the tags we've created in the actual tags category. Over here. We go to tags, and here we get the full view of all our tags that we've created. Here we've got 5 tags here: favorite prayers, fasting, covenants, prophecy, and love. Within these tags, there are of course some subtags that we've created. So here we've got unity prayers, which is a subtag underneath this tag. There are 2 further subtags underneath unity prayers, which are by Baha'u'llah and by Abdu'l-Baha here. As you can guess, if I were to click the checkbox, I would be able to search within that tag only. Of course, at any time, if I don't select any of the checkboxes, it will default by searching all the tags. So let's look inside this tag and see what the contents are. If we tap on this, we'll see there are 5 quotes that we've associated to this tag. Of course, here it's just a sample and they all look repeated. But each entry will be truncated. If we tap on the entry, however, we'll be given the full text selection that we've made, which is associated to this tag. So in this case, this quote from here to here has been associated to this subtag by Baha'u'llah, which is underneath this tag, which is underneath that tag. And of course, if we do decide to edit, we're able to rearrange the tags, rename the tags, or delete the tags. Here as well, we'll be able to rearrange them whether we want to put them nested within another tag or bring them out into a main category. Okay, so let's go back to the view. So the next tool we're going to look at is notes. Notes, as you can imagine, is pretty easy and standard. Here we've got 5 notes that are associated to this text selection, and we can see the 5 notes over here. Note 1, 2, 3, and so on. And of course, where the source is always indicated: author, book, and paragraph number. We're able to edit the note, of course, save, close, etc. If we decide to create a new note, instead of choosing tag, we choose note, and we decide to notate on that new text selection, and we can type it here and save, of course. So let's go look at our notes category. So these are all the notes that we've created. Then they're organized the same way the library is organized. So we go into Bahá'í, and within the category of Baha'u'llah, we've got 5 notes that we've created. And the 5 notes are within this one book, Epistle of the Son of the Wolf. And of course, as usual, we're able to search within the notes, either by all the notes or by selecting which notes to search within. And again, just like the tags view, with the notes view, we're also able to look at the note that we've created here and enter the full view or a truncated view to save space. So the full view, this is what I notated earlier about this paragraph. If I were to be able to click on that source at the bottom that you just saw, it will take me to the actual place where I took that note here. And that's notes. So now let's look at XREFs, or cross-references. Here in this paragraph, there is a text selection which has one XREF associated to it. Let's take a look. So this text selection here has got a cross-reference that's associated to it. In this case, it's showing multiple, and it also switched over to 5, but that's just because of the mock-up error. But essentially, if it would have 1, it would show you the one cross-reference underneath it. If it had a number 5 here, that would mean that you've created 5 cross-references associated to it. And cross-references is quite simple as well. It's basically creating a hyperlink between 2 different quotes within the same book or among other books. So in this case, we're able to look at the cross-reference that we've created. If we tap on the text here, it will give us the full quote that we've associated to here within another book. It just so happens that it's the same author. We can add a new one if we want, but we'll do that this way, by selecting a text, which is another way of adding a cross-reference as well. So we go XREF, and what it does, it takes you to the library. So you navigate to which book you want it to cross-reference to, and then select the quote, and then we create XREF. So those 2 quotes from here and the other book have now been linked together. When we go here within this book, or in that same place in the other book, they'll both have this icon indicating there's an XREF associated to each, which you can view here. Now if we go to the XREF category over here, we'll see all the cross-references that we've made. So here, what we see here is that between the Bible and the Epistle of the Son of the Wolf, 2 separate books, we've created 2 cross-references. So here's one cross-reference, and here's another cross-reference. If we tap on it, we're able to expand and see the full quotes. And we see this quote we've selected and this quote we've selected on each to be associated to each other. And now we can look at them side by side. Of course, we're able to select and search within that cross-reference or search among all cross-references. Now this is the interesting part. Once we've created all these tags, notes, and cross-references throughout all our searches and all our reading, what do we do with them? Well, first, what we can do is we can go home and we can see the stats. So what we see here is we've created 23 tags in total, we've created 5 notes in total, and we've created 4 cross-references in total. A sort of gamification of your search and research progress. What we see below that are recently viewed books. So we can see here that within this book, we're 43% of the way through, and this bar indicates how far along we are. It also indicates underneath it how many tags, notes, and cross-references we've got within that book. We're able to jump into that book directly where we left off. We can also go to the bottom here and jump directly to the library. So what else can we do with the tags, notes, and cross-reference that we've created? Of course, we could now share them. So let's go to the tags. And this is my favorite part. Let's say we select a tag, and that's the tag we want to share. We can go here, share, and here we're given some options. Within that tag, favorite prayers, or let's say covenant, if we've selected that tag covenant to share, there are also maybe notes or cross-references that are associated to those very same quotes that we've used within that tag. So let's say the tag covenants has 3 quotes within it that we've selected and we've associated to the term covenant. Those same quotes we may also have added notes or cross-references to. If we have, we're able to select here and associate them with this share. So what is this share? Essentially, there are 2 ways of sharing your tags, notes, and cross-references. The first method is through a document, either an RTF document, a Word document, or a PDF document. And what this does is essentially exports the tags and notes and cross-references, if there are any associated to them, to a document. And here's a sample right here. So in this example, we've decided to share this tag called covenant. And within this tag covenant, there are 2 subtags called greater covenant and lesser covenant. And of course, there are quotes associated to those subtags. So here we can see covenant ends up becoming a title for the document. And greater covenant, which is a subtag, becomes a subtitle for the document. Here beneath the first subtag, we've got the first quote. Underneath that, we've got the second quote. And underneath the second quote, because we've decided to associate notes and cross-references to these tags, we've also got the 2 notes that we've created on this same quote. Here's the third quote. And underneath this third quote, there's a note that we've created, and there's also a cross-reference that we've created, indicated by a diamond here. And instead of entering the entire quote of the cross-reference, all we've done is enter the reference for it. So we can see here that this quote here is associated to this note and associated to these references here. And here's the next subcategory, lesser covenant. With the first quote here, the cross-references that's associated to it, and then the second quote here. And of course, with each quote, it automatically enters the author, the book, and the paragraph number. Or in the case of the Quran and the Bible, the book of the Bible, and the chapter and verse. The other method of sharing is to another Immerse user. So here I've just temporarily titled it IMM file or Immerse file, which creates an attachment or a file to be able to be sent to be imported by another Immerse user. So another Immerse user would open up that attachment and be able to import those tags, notes, and cross-references that you've shared with them. And it would be associated with their Immerse tags, notes, and cross-references. You could also, of course, do both. Share it as a document and as an Immerse file to an individual. And that's Immerse Interfaith. Thank you very much.